You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live. Next, featuring intimate and in-depth interviews with Black Hollywood's next edition of stars and influencers. Black Hollywood Live. Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, next.
Hello, happy Friday, happy New Year, you guys, we're back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo! It's been so long, I missed you guys.
I know, I missed you too.
Mostly Megan, but you know.
But actually here again.
Kidding, I missed you both. I'm Jessica King, also the producer of Fox's hit show, Dish Nation. Check it out. Quick plug. And who am I joined by?
Me, Megan Thomas, also known as @MegScoop on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And Nick Perdue.
That's it. That's all we get. And Nick Perdue.
Google it, guys. That's it.
There you go. We have a very special guest today. Her name is Thea Trinidad, but you may know her as Rosita.
Ooh.
Welcome.
Thank you guys for having me.
Hi.
Yeah, welcome.
You're so cute.
Thank you. I get very shy sometimes, but that's funny. Thank you.
Well, I don't know if you believed us when we were telling you a little earlier. We really did some research on you. So
Oh, that's
we're
interesting.
really going to get into it.
No, I like that. I'm an open book, so let's do it.
Great. That's what I like to hear. Well, first things first, both your dad and your uncle were wrestlers, and growing up you used to watch wrestling with them all the time. Did you ever feel any pressure to follow in their footsteps, or were you just immediately drawn to the sport?
Oh, no, I was immediately drawn to it. It was something that I experienced it because I went to a live event, and I was like, okay, like my brother and I would wrestle around with my dad, and he'd teach us little things because he knew a lot of amateur moves, like headlock submissions and stuff like that. But when I went to a WWF back in the day event, I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to do. I was 4 years old when I figured that out.
That's
That's
awesome.
crazy. Yeah. I knew I wanted to be the person in the ring instead of the person behind the guardrail. So it was really just a oh my God moment. You know?
4 years old. Wow. And you continued it throughout all these years. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's weird because I didn't think I was going to. At, I don't know, 15, I was like, I like music. I like dance. I like to, I started branching out. But then it all came together, really, because wrestling involves acting. It involves, if you can dance or something, like, it's just really great to have different avenues that you're good at, so.
Well, I have to ask you, I know you're a huge fan of Aaliyah.
Yes.
And yesterday was her birthday.
Yeah.
Did you have, like, a little special, birthday moment for her?
Kind of. It's weird. Every year on her birthday and her passing in August, I only play her music during the day. That's it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes I'll post pictures on Instagram of her, and I was a huge, when I say huge Aaliyah fan, to the point where I would dress up like her, cut my hair like her, and
like the bandana, everying.
Everything.
Tommy Hilfiger.
Oh yeah, I used to
Sports
borrow
bra.
my brother's pants, like his jeans, and put them on, and have like his little his style of underwear, like the boxers and stuff. But yesterday I also posted a picture back when I had my hair dark. I used to do the sunglasses and the hair swoop to the side. So yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I was
Who
obsessed.
doesn't love Aaliyah? She's
Right.
amazing.
Right.
Well, speaking of people that you love and look up to, unfortunately, you lost your father when you were 10 years old to 9/11, and you later attended Camp Hayes as a counselor
Wow, you
for
did do
other
your
children. Tell me, girl. For other children who lost their parents, why was it important for you to share this experience with other people?
Well, at first it wasn't easy. I'll say that. It was something that my mom forced me to do. I was 12 years old. I attended the camp first. So I was like, no, camps are kind of whack. I'd rather just sit home and play video games and not pay attention to anybody. But she's like, no, you got to go. It's a good experience. I guarantee you. So I went, and by the first couple hours, I was like,
You're hooked.
I was like, this is my place, is my people. And it's good because everybody understood what we all went through, but you didn't have to talk about it if you didn't want to. But if you did, it was nice because you had people who had something in common with you. And every night we would sit around and we would sing our Camp Hayes song, and we would give hugs every night to every single person. Like, it was very big there. And because the founders of the camp, Janice and Chuck Hazelcorn, they lost their son, Eric Hazelcorn. And his big dream was to, make a camp for kids. And they did that in his honor. And his big thing was hugs. So they made sure that every night we had hugs. And every Wednesday we had grilled cheese and pickle sandwiches, which I wasn't crazy about. But yeah, but that was a big. And it was just nice because after I was old enough, I was around 17, 18, and they said, you're getting kind of old to be here. So do you want to be a counselor? And I was like, oh my God, absolutely. And yeah, I became a counselor. I've been doing it ever since.
Oh, awesome.
Well, and so, because you are very vocal about your loss, which is commendable.
Thank you.
And, because a lot of kids your age, would have kind of shut down and just, shut everybody out. So, was talking about it, did that help, kind of
Not at first, actually. Not at first. I went through a period where it was just denial. I didn't believe that what I was seeing was real to the point where, because my dad would pick me up every weekend. So for, I want to say a few months, I would still get ready as if he was going to come. I still, it was, I think maybe, I don't know, it was a couple months, and then I realized my mom just sat me down and said, listen, it's reality. We went and we looked for him, we went down to ground zero, we didn't find anything, but, we got a call from the medical examiner's office, and they found him, so we can now have a proper burial for him and move on, kind of, just say, okay, this happened, but we're just saving his spirit for us,
Right.
So it helped once I realized what the situation was, and really helped because once I said, okay, wrestling is what we really had in common, I'm going to pursue this. That's what, people need to know about him. They need to know about how he inspired me, and maybe he can inspire you too. So
Did your dad know you wanted to be a wrestler?
yeah.
Did he encourage it?
Yeah,
He did,
He
okay.
liked it. He did, because that was his dream too.
Okay.
His dream was to be a WWE wrestler, and I heard about it all the time, all the time. And my mom was just like, "No, don't get her into that, because then if she does it, she's gonna be serious about it, and she's actually gonna do it. So don't tell her to do that." And he's like, "No, I'm telling you, it'd be great. She could be Lita. She could be the new Lita."
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "Yeah," because Lita was my favorite. So I was like, "Yeah, this would be really good." And my mom's like, "Don't you want to do ballet? Huh? No? Toot pink? No? Okay." And my dad was like, "Yeah, baseball, wrestling, that's the way I was." And
Right.
it stuck with me all this time, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, you're definitely real serious about wrestling.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and
My
so-
mom, it took a while for her to be okay with it. She just became okay with it roughly 4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh my
maybe
gosh.
3. Yeah. When I got with TNA, that's when she was like, okay.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
She's really going to go after
Did,
this.
Yeah.
did she watch your first match, or was she just like, I'm not watching, I'm not a part of anything? Or?
She did. She watched. There was one right before I went to TNA. I did a match, and I never wanted to do anything on September 11th, but go to the ceremony in the city. But I was like, you know what? I want to have a wrestling match on that day and dedicate it to him. And Mick Foley was there, so that was really cool to do that in front of him. And he was so supportive that day, and it was really nice. So we did that before. So she went to that one. Did that before TNA. Then when I actually went, she watched it on TV, and her and my aunts, everybody called me crying, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." But yeah, she just became okay with it. But there's been times where I'll call her and be like, "Mom, hey, so I split my head open. I'm okay though. Just
Oh,
know,
gosh.
everything's fine." But my head busted open. Okay, so I'll just be
Love
chilling.
you.
Yeah. She's like, "No, send me pictures." And then the next day I got Inspirational Wrestler of the Year for 2011. So she was like, "Oh, that's cool." And she loved the plaque. We got a little plaque for it. She's like, "Oh, that's cool. Your head is pretty stitched up, isn't it?" So, yeah.
Well, let me ask you, so are you truly 5 foot?
No.
No. So what's your actual true to life height?
Well, that would be technically 4'10" and 3/4.
4'10".
Wow.
I
Wow.
would never be able to tell that you were 4'10".
Really?
It's the
It's the wedges.
It's the heels.
Yeah. I don't like to wear heels. I really don't. Like I said, I'm a tomboy to the fullest, and whether sneakers or Uggs or whatever, I'm always in flats, which
Right.
is so bad. But
It's so comfortable, though.
it is. It's so comfortable. But I remember one time I went to the doctor. They told me I was 4'9", and I nearly took a bump. I flipped out. I was like, "No way am I 4'9". Do it again. Do it again.
Right.
It must have been just a bad day.
Right.
So we'll stick to 4'10".
10.
Whenever somebody asks me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm 4 something.
Just
or
round
another.
up 5 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Round it on up.
That's what I say.
Right.
So.
You can say 5'2", like
I
on
wish I
on
could
a
say
good day.
5'2", but then you know what? The people who are 5 feet and 5'2", they're like, no, you're not. You're not 5 feet. I know you're not because I am. I'm like, oh, okay. So
Right.
I hear that a lot.
That's funny. Now, but how does someone so small give such a big beating in the ring?
Rey Mysterio was my inspiration when it came to that. He was somebody that I looked at. I was like, wow, he's so small, but he can do so much.
Yeah.
And again, being younger, I was like, man, how could you become a wrestler? Like, how could you really just be there and get in the ring and just, like do all the things that all the heavyweights were doing? But Rey Mysterio was that person. Him and Lita were the two people that I said, you know what? I want to be just like them because he's small. And I said, I want to be the female Rey Mysterio. Whether it's with a mask or not, I want to be him. And I actually got to tell him that last year.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
And it was really cool. It was like it came kind of full circle in a way because there were times where I would go to Lita's signings and say, oh my God, I want to be like her. And say, I want to win a championship one day. And then when I was in TNA, I won the tag team championships. And I had a little girl come to my signing, like crying. She's like, I want to be just like you. And I was like, I can't believe you're saying this. I was you.
Yeah.
I was you. And it was crazy to me. And I told Ray, and he's like, no way. You wanted to be like me. Like, he's so humble and so cool. He's like, you want to be like me? That's so sweet. And I was like, yeah. So he's been a big supporter of me in wrestling. So it's awesome.
That is dope.
Very cool.
My 8-year-old self is screaming.
Right.
Yeah.
What is it like? Walk us through it. You come out of the curtain, everyone's screaming for you, cheering, and you have all these people watching you. What does that feel like?
Well, I was somebody that never got butterflies. I got hawks. Like, they were ridiculous. I was so nervous all the time. But I would try to psych myself out as if I wasn't.
Okay.
And I'm pretty good at that. Like, if I tell myself, no, you're not nervous, or just start dancing or doing something stupid so that I forget, then it'll hit me right as I come out. I'm like, oh my God, okay, there's like crazy amounts of people here. But my character, I was the bad guy in TNA. So my character was very, think Rosie Perez, Nicki Minaj, very ghetto. And they always kind of push that. They're like, can you take out your big hoop earrings and like be really, So before I went out to the ring, I would always listen to a Nicki Minaj song. So I got in the mood.
Right.
And then I would go out there and everybody was booing me because I was so mean to everybody.
Right.
So it was fun though. I liked being the bad guy at some points. I really did because it was fun to just play off people's emotions and get them to hate you. It's easier to make somebody hate you than to love you. So then when I actually was playing a good guy, I was like, wow, it does take a lot to draw that emotion out of people and make them like you. And that's an even more rewarding experience when you can have people cheering your name. Like, there was a time where I think it was at Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore show. I walk out and I just hear, like, I see a whole bunch of people. It was a crazy amount of people. I think we had like 4,200 people that day, and I looked out and I was like, oh my God. And I hear my ring name. So I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And you just feel like an overwhelming happiness just kind of come over you. And then it gives you a hell of a lot more encouragement, and you go out there and you kick ass.
That's awesome. Do you have a pre-game ritual routine?
Yeah. It's so ridiculous. But me and my tag partner that were in TNA, she also got very, very nervous. And anytime I saw her getting nervous, I would just break out and dance like all kinds of crazy. Like all crazy. And then she'd start laughing, and then maybe she'll catch me at the same time doing that, and we would just play off of each other.
Okay.
But like I said, I have to listen to a Nicki Minaj song. And if I have extra time, I listen to a Disturbed song to get me more like pumped.
Oh, wow.
I'm a huge rock fan. So Disturbed was definitely my go-to.
Okay, who's your favorite wrestler?
My favorite of all time. It's hard because I like different people for different reasons, but definitely Rey Mysterio.
Okay.
Rey Mysterio, and Trish and Lita is kind of like on the same level, but Lita still brings that out of me. So Lita.
Okay. And now, how did you get the ring name Rosita? Rosita. They say it right after roll the R.
Yeah,
Rosita.
Yes. Which they always. It's weird when we were there. I always wondered, like, oh, Rosita. I got a sheet the next day, like, okay, you're hired now. here's your gimmick. Your name is Rosita, and you are the cousin to Sarita. And I was like, wow, really creative, guys, and a tad bit racist. But, yeah. And they're like, and you have to have a little red rose on all your gear. And I was like, okay, we'll make something out of this. You know, we'll make chicken crap out of, you know, whatever, chicken salad out of chicken crap. But it was fun because anything that they did give me that I was like, racist? Much. We made it funny. So there were times where they'd be like, can we bring the Itas over here or something? Like whatever. The Itas, it was Sarita, Rosita, and my Dila Brown always gave me the nickname Rosita Conchita. So it was just like, hey, Itas, bring your, come over here. Velveeta, Velvet, like everybody's name got so screwed up, but it wasn't that creative.
Right.
I wish I had a better story as to where Rosita came from, but no.
No, that's perfect. Actually, that's really funny. Very stereotypical, and I love it.
I know. I was like, yeah, really?
Right.
Okay, guys.
So you mentioned you got your head split open.
Yeah.
What was the worst injury you've received wrestling?
Well, I have been very lucky when it comes to wrestling, which sounds crazy because I have had my head split open, but I'll say the worst and the scariest. The worst was getting my head split open. I mean, I've had concussions in the ring before, but it was a total accident too. I was getting up. If you picture the ring apron here, I was getting up from the floor. So my head is coming up here. My partner's in the ring. She throws like this really heavy. It's the guy's belt, so it's really heavy and really rigid. She whipped it out towards the bottom rope, and it collided with my head. Oh. So it split from here to the back here.
Wow.
And I saw white. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh my God, okay. And then I felt like a trickle down my head, and I was like, oh, it's sweat. Oh my God, no, it's not. Okay. Gosh. So I knew like, okay, I had to win that night. So I was like, okay, the bell rang, we must have won. So I'm walking up the ramp and I'm talking crap, and I feel the blood like rushing down my head. I'm like, yeah, we beat you. Oh my God, we got to get to the back. So yeah, and I'm just talking crap. But then when I got to the back, I was like, oh no.
What a trooper you kept going.
Well, there's been times where I've had concussions in the ring and just had to push through. Like I will not. I can't stop. I just won't. And then the scariest was recently in November at Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore show. It was me and Carlito versus Victoria and Stevie Richards. So I'm about to run at her and kind of tackle her. But I think she had a ring on or something. Maybe she forgot to take it off. I don't know. But her fist like hit my eye, and it was this one. I remember because I was blinded. I was half blinded throughout the whole match.
Wow.
And that was the very beginning of the match. I was like, oh my God, I can't see. Is my eye falling out? Oh my God, oh my God. And then I peeled off my eyelash. I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm freaking out at this point. But I just had to push through, especially because that show meant a lot to me because it was Dreamer's show. I call him like my wrestling dad. I felt like he's the person that, since my dad couldn't be here for me physically, he was someone that he sent to me. I really believe that. He's been like amazing to me since I met him. So that show was very important. But I made sure that I was like, oh, I have to still do like some high flying moves. Like I had to do Hurricane Rana off the top rope, but still try to like distance it and hit it on time, and then do my moonsault, which is a backflip off the top rope onto Stevie. But I was like, my God, I can't see anything. Like I couldn't see, so it was difficult, but I got through it. So
oh gosh,
I don't want to be one of those people who like stops in the middle of the match. I can't.
Right.
You know, you don't want to be one of those people.
So are you used to having bruises and cuts and?
Yeah, I actually have one
everything?
on my arm for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I always have them. Yeah,
Right.
I always do. There's been times where like even the my head split open. I was like, take a picture. I want to see how bad it is. So I always have pictures for some reason of my injuries. Yeah. So I don't mind them. I kind of like looking back at them. I'm like, wow, okay, you're a psycho.
You are hardcore. If I had a hat, I would tip it to you.
Right.
Thank you.
But wrestling is just one of your many, many talents. You sing, you act, you do Zumba, you model, like you are all over the place. Is it hard to juggle like so many different things and interests and career paths?
Honestly, no. I don't think so. And I think it's just because I like reaching into things and saying, okay, well, I'll try this and I'll try that just to see if I can. And then if I like it, I'll stick to it. And I've just been really lucky to the point where things have just hit. Whether that's in my like modeling. I'm a fitness model for this product called VitaZen. And that just came about after I did my first competition, and I placed 10th out of 38 girls.
Oh, wow.
And it was my first one. I had really no idea what I was doing. And I just worked really hard at it. And I think that they saw that and they said, hey, like, we can do this together. And since then, I mean, from Muscle and Fitness to Oxygen magazines, things I looked at and loved as, like, you know, coming up, I was like, wow, I'd love to be in these magazines. To finally do it, it was really nice and rewarding. And then for acting, that was just something that just kind of, it came about. Like, I took acting in high school and college, but I only did it because I thought that it would help me in wrestling. But then I realized that wrestling was my gateway into acting, really, because I met a director who was a huge fan. And he was like, I want you in my movie, and then I want you in the next one. And then I met other people, and it was amazing. So, no, it's not really hard necessarily to juggle, but, you know, you want to make sure that you're giving just as much in each category that you put yourself into.
Right.
So,
well, speaking of acting, what has been your favorite role that you've played so far?
Oh, that would definitely be this movie that I just did. It came out on January 14th. It's worldwide, so all the DVDs everywhere. I don't want to say like my human name.
What's the movie called?
The movie called Army of the Damned.
Okay.
And my human name is Officer Lawson. So I started off as a cop, and it's me and Tommy Dreamer, actually. So we're cops, and it's funny because he's the veteran cop and I'm the rookie cop, which is basically how it is in real life anyway. So it really played out great. And then something happens to where I become this really demonic monster that just starts killing people. And actually, I used Aaliyah's Akasha character in Queen of the Damned to inspire mine for Army of the Damned.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Oh,
yeah.
cool. So what is next for your acting career? I'm sure you're going to continue to pursue it. What kind of things do you have your sights set on?
Definitely more acting roles. I'm trying to just, you know, and that's also a reason why I'm out here, just to see if I can, you know, roll with everybody. I mean, there's a lot of work out here, but there's also a lot of competition. So you got to have, like, work really hard to see where you're going to be at. And acting is definitely something that I want to pursue, whether that's in movies or TV shows or, you know, because I've done both. And I love it. So, you know, just auditions and stuff out here. So I'm definitely excited to see what's going to happen.
Very cool. Good
That's
luck.
cool. Because, you know, we've seen a lot of wrestlers transition to acting, from The Rock, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, right? So, which out of those careers, I guess, do you really look up to, or who's kind of acting from wrestling to acting career inspires you?
The Rock,
Yeah?
for sure.
He has a great agent.
Yeah.
Whoever's agent is, he has a great agent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously.
And a great body doesn't hurt, you know. But he's amazing. I think from just, he's so charismatic, and when it came to wrestling, you just gravitated towards him. You know, you wanted to hear him speak. Anytime he spoke, everybody was just clued in, listening. And same with his acting. I mean, from Scorpion King to even the Tooth Fairy thing that he did. I mean, regardless, you love him. He's hot.
Yeah.
He's a great actor. I love him. So definitely The Rock.
Gotcha. Now, let me ask you, how much acting and choreography actually goes into wrestling?
Not as much as people would think, actually. A lot of people think that we will sit there and kind of map it out, like go in the ring and practice before the shows. That doesn't always happen. I mean, it's pretty rare that happens, actually. We go in there, and our agent will say, okay, it's going to be you two tonight. This person's going to win. Figure it out, basically. And
They tell you who's going to win?
Yeah. Like, I know going in there. You know, that's the thing, though. When people say wrestling,
You
they're
ruined
like,
it for me. No, she
that's kind of like Santa. Like, oh, telling you Santa's not real. That's how it was for me. When I remember my stepfather, he was like, oh, you know wrestling's fake, right? And I was like, no, it's not. Where's the blood? How did the blood come about? And they're like, well, they do this thing. It's, you know, they blade. And I'm like, no, they don't. Who would do that? Like, who cuts themselves, really?
Right. I knew it was like a show.
Come
and
to find out.
but-
Yeah, well, it is. Here's the thing. I would say it's 20% fake. The only thing that's fake about it is the outcome and the storylines. But everything from when you step into the ring to every, you know, bump that you take, every time you jump off the top, it all hurts. You know, taking shots from a chair or going through a table, it all hurts. So
Yeah.
it's a lot. So, but there's not a lot of choreography, really. I mean, it's just, a lot of it is talking in the ring. So a lot of people will, if you notice, especially with the girls, if they flip their hair, when they were down, they said something to the girl. That's usually how, you know, we'll do it. But you know, it's the little tricks. The little
Are there
Secret
like
sauce.
code words that you guys say, like, I'm gonna do this real quick?
Oh yeah,
And you guys,
tons of them, and we kind of have our own language as wrestlers. Like if I'm telling you right now, kayfabe, do you know what that means?
no.
It's, you know, most people wouldn't, and it's
Right.
just whenever that somebody said that to me, it's usually because let's say I'm in a storyline with somebody and we go out to eat afterwards and we see that there's fans. We're like, all right, kayfabe, meaning like play your character, make it seem real to the people even after the show. So there's stuff like that.
But I mean, if you guys don't like each other and you're out together,
You're out to eat. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what the fans think. Like, why would they be going out to? You know what I'm saying?
Throw water in face real quick or something. And you
I've had arguments in
Really?
Yes. There was one really bad in Fridays, but it was because people were getting so into it. I was like, "Ooh, we can make this fun."
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I went. It was me and Victoria. We were going to Fridays, and there was a whole bunch of fans there after the show. So I didn't realize what was going on, and I was like, "Hey, Victoria, what's up?" And then she was just like, "What are you doing here? Like, who do you think you are?" Like, getting all in my face, and I was like, okay. And then we
Get it.
played along, and we were yelling at each other. Like, everybody was getting into it. The fans got into it. So it made it fun, you know?
Yeah.
And I like that. I like being able to play it up even after the show. It still, like, makes it interesting, you know? So,
That's
yeah.
demanding.
Yeah, it can be, but it's also fun because it's usually your best friends that you're working with,
That's true.
you
Yeah.
know? So I've had my best friends come out of wrestling.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, like Melina and Velvet Sky. I mean, Sarita, my tag partner. Those are like some of the closest people in my life. So I do thank wrestling for that. Tommy Dreamer, same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So your career is so physically demanding. How often do you work out? You're like,
I'm like, I didn't need to do cardio today. But it's usually, I do cardio maybe 5 to 6 times a week
Wow.
and train like with weights 4 to 5.
okay. Do you have cheat days?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I have to. I would go crazy if I didn't.
What do you eat on your cheat days?
Pizza.
Ah.
Pizza
Best.
is my favorite.
What kind of pizza?
Oh, well, there's usually, you ever had penny alla vodka pizza?
No, what is that?
Penny alla
Like
vodka on top
pasta?
of pizza. Yes.
Oh, girl, oh, you really cheat. That's a big cheat. That's a good cheat.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, then
It
there's
sounds good, though.
white pizza with like Alfredo sauce
Right.
and
Oh,
spinach
yeah.
and no, I get really dirty with that.
Okay. Well, you're allowed to. I mean,
Yeah.
if you do all that.
You deserve it.
There's some points where I'm like, you need to stop. You're a monster. Stop it. But I mean, for my competition that I did, I don't know that I'll ever do it again just because it was so demanding eating wise and on my body. Like, I worked out. I did 2 hours of cardio a day.
Oh, wow.
I was only eating like, towards the end, I was only eating like 700 and some calories. It was
700. That. Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
It's like a
It was
saltine.
bad.
Yeah. It's like my breakfast.
It was really bad, but that's where I was like going crazy. I mean, maybe a month before my competition, that's where everything was still cool. They didn't take away my brown rice yet. They didn't take away anything bad, so it was fine. But the core like crunching down time, oh my god, no, never.
Right.
No.
Right.
But pizza, baked ziti too.
Now I want pizza for
Oh.
dinner.
How do you get through those days when you're like, I don't want to get up. I just want to lay on the couch and eat ice cream?
I have a lot of those days. I have a lot of those days, but usually I have pictures on my phone of fitness models that I like, or wrestlers that I like, especially Trish Stratus. She's both. She's a fitness model and a wrestler, so it's kind of cool. And I have a picture of her, and I'm like, okay, she did it. I can do it. Fine, you know, like, you can do it. Like you just have to kind of psych yourself out and just like, all right, once you get it done, then you can relax and play video games all day. Because I'm a huge gamer, so that's all I will do. Like, this is what I look like most of the time. So.
And then, so for some of the food that you have to eat while you're training, what does that menu look like?
Egg whites, oatmeal in the morning, grilled chicken and sweet potato, or brown rice during the day, and vegetables. And at night, it's usually like grilled chicken or salmon and vegetables. But it's kind of like the idea of eat like a queen at breakfast, eat like a princess for lunch, and eat like a peasant for dinner.
Yeah.
Very
It's
true.
so bad, but it's true.
Very true.
So let me ask you. You have over 76,000 followers on Twitter.
That's crazy still to me.
Right?
It really
And
is.
you got the nice little blue check. So you're obviously loved by your fans. So what does it feel like to have such a strong following?
It's crazy still. I mean, I've been wrestling since I was 17, but even now, like after TNA, I still can say, wow, like I can't believe all these people know about me and will find me in restaurants or find me in my hotel lobbies and stuff. It's still weird, but I like it. It's really cool that I can actually inspire them. Like when I hear people's stories of like how I've inspired them or my story has about my dad, it's crazy to hear. And that's all I've ever wanted, is just to show, you know, yeah, okay, I had everything working against me. I'm small. I, you know, wasn't exactly the best. I guess my memory is not all there. Like when it came to, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't somebody who could like watch a dance and then be able to like perform it right back. You know, like in dance school, I always had issues. But I was a hard worker, and I just wanted people to realize, like, okay, you may have weight problems working against you, height, whatever, but you can still conquer it and, you know, still be okay and hopefully go for your dreams still. So, yeah.
Well, up until like recent decades, I guess, wrestling was kind of known as like the man's sport.
Yeah.
You know, you ask like the average person some of the biggest names in wrestling, you always hear men's names like The Rock, The Undertaker, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, whatnot. And, you know, now we're starting to see a lot more women in the sport. Do you kind of feel like you're helping to break that mold?
I'm hoping to. I'm hoping to. And I think also because when you look at the normal Hulk Hogan, all the big guys, there's not a lot of people that will say the smaller guys, like the Eddie Guerreros or the Rey Mysterios or anything like that. So it's nice that they're also coming up too.
Right.
And for women, same thing. I have a double whammy. I'm a woman and I'm small. Like, you know, I have both working against me in a way. So for people to say, okay, well, I like her because she's like me, or, you know, that's cool that somebody so little can do that, or whatever the fact. I'm hoping to break that mold and kind of give women's wrestling like a nice little different look to it, besides the big boob blonde hair chicks, you know, like that's just, it's so normal to have that, you know. Now I think it's a lot different, especially in TNA. You know, they have a lot of different women, and it's cool to see everything kind of come together, because everybody has their own characters too. So
we got the Idas.
Right? Yeah, we got the Idas. Yeah.
What's the atmosphere like at TNA? Is it really? Are you guys all family, or are there really wrestlers who are like, I do not like her?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. And it's from what I hear, because I haven't worked for WWE, I've been there a few times to come in for tryouts and whatnot. But with TNA, it's you don't feel like you're walking on eggshells. You go to work and you're happy to be there if you're happy with your contract, if you're happy with, you know, whatever you structured with them. As long as that's cool, you go there and you're happy to be there. There's nice people there, you get along, and everybody just wants to make a good product. That's overall what it comes down to at the end of the day. And it's nice. I liked it there for my time, but I felt like it was time to leave when my contract expired. So, you know, just to experience other things, because after that, acting came about, and then a couple tryouts with WWE. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so you'll be on WWE next, is what you're telling us.
I you know what? I hope so.
We're going to put that out there for you.
There you go.
I hope so, but you never know. I mean, this world's crazy to the point where something else may hit, hopefully in acting, or, you know, TNA will come back with a different, who knows?
Right.
You know, but it's I'm blessed to know that I have different options than saying, okay, I want to put all my eggs in this basket, or go for this dream, or see what's going on with this, you know. So it's cool.
Well, you're so busy.
I don't feel that way a lot, though.
Do you have time to date?
No. No, not necessarily. And it's, you know, when I was in TNA, I thought, oh, well, you know, I'd be on the road with whoever I was traveling, you know, dating and traveling. It's not always that simple. It's really not, you know. And a lot of guys in wrestling especially can be very, I want to say a little girly, to the point where they care about, like, more about what they look like than what you look like.
you.
You know, like, yeah. And to the point where, like, I'm like, okay, well, I just want to hang out and play video games today. Like, I go to the gym, look at myself in the mirror, you know. Okay.
What do you look for in a guy?
Humor is really big with me.
Okay.
Humor is really big with me. And it's funny because a lot of people are like, oh, my God, you were a wrestler, so you're around these half-naked guys all the time that were so big and buff. I'm like, yeah, but now I'm numb to it.
Right.
You know, so now I go there, I'm like, okay. You know, it's not anything crazy for me. But humor is really big with me. And I've come to notice I'm really big on guys with dark hair and blue eyes.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Me too.
Love that.
But dark hair and blue eyes, I'm just,
Nick, get some contacts.
right.
Yeah.
Almost there.
So, you being a big gamer, right?
Oh yeah.
Did a little research. So, you and your brother Tim.
Oh,
right?
and
You,
Name association.
We know Tim.
First name status.
Almost, not really.
well, yeah. I guess you guys played Mortal Kombat, and he has beaten you on more than one occasion
Yeah.
of Mortal Kombat. It's like, did this spark like a sibling video game rivalry?
Oh, it's been like that. It's
Yeah?
been like that since the first Mortal Kombat came out. We have always been that way. And to the point where we love each other to death and we're best friends. But man, when it comes to video games, I've thrown remotes at him. Like, I've gotten so pissed. Like, there's been, and he's just blessed to the point where he is so good at any video game he touches. Any video game. And like, I get hot about this because I'm like, no, it's not fair, okay? Because I'm better than, like, a lot of people think that I would be because I'm a girl. So when I was in TNA, a lot of the guys were like, oh yeah, give me your gamer tag and we'll play. And then I'm like, no, she's actually really good. Like, she beat me. And it's funny because it was me, Velvet Sky, Austin Aries, my brother, and Brian Kendrick. We all got in, we hung out at my friend Danny's house and we were all playing video games. And they're really surprised to see that it just, we did the thing where, okay, you battle this person, you battle this person, whoever wins is going to be the last two.
Right.
Always came down to me and my brother. I swear to God, I just, and when I beat him though, I'll never let him hear the end of it. He never hears the end of it.
I could see how heated you get just talking about
Right.
it.
Oh yeah. I take pictures of the screen where it's like Sindel wins. I'm like, yep, that's being me. Yep. So, but anytime he chooses Scorpion, it's like game over.
Right.
I can't do it.
Who are you on Mortal Kombat?
Sindel's
Always
my
Sindel.
absolute favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, her Kitana's okay, but Sindel's my girl.
I'm always Katana.
yeah.
Maybe you should choose
Good.
Scorpio, and then
Yeah. You're on the tricks.
If I did though, that's an interesting thing. I wonder. Maybe I should. Maybe I should.
just try it once just to see what happens, and like let him be, Raven or somebody. Just let him be something different. Throw him off his game.
That's an interesting way to go about it. I'm
Switch it
gonna
up.
practice now. I'm gonna
Right,
practice
right.
now.
There you go.
But yeah, that video game is like my absolute favorite. Next to, there's the fighting games that are good like Tekken, what do you call it, Street Fighter and stuff. But Batman, like the new Batmans that have come out, been amazing. Like
Really?
all of them are amazing. And I'm a huge Joker, Harley Quinn fan. So I love how they they tied everybody in. They told a great story, and I will sit there for hours and hours playing it. Like when I had time off from TNA, and I got the Mortal Kombat game, I got it at 6 p.m. and I didn't stop playing it until 7 a.m.
Oh my
until I
God.
beat it.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
I was obsessed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, do you find it hard to separate your on-screen persona from your everyday life?
No, and I think it's just because I'm nothing like my character. Like Rosita and me, like we would never get along. If we met at a club or something, I would not like her at all. Mostly she's so. I talk about it like we're different people, but she's very outspoken and very just in your face. And even though she knows that you may be 10 times bigger than she is, she'll yell at you and she'll take your earrings off and still like want to fight you over anything really. So no, we're not really the same people, but it's hard on Twitter because when I was Rosita TNA on Twitter and tried to play up the character, a lot of people were getting offended. Like a lot of people would come up to me at signings like, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you did that.
Right.
And what you taking pictures with them for? But now, when I switched it to Thea Trinidad, now I'm like, okay, I can be me, like my actual self. And anytime I try to play up the Rosita character, it's just, I guess it's just
hard.
good to the point where people get really mad. So I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
well, I guess I did my job then.
Yeah.
So
They're so involved with
Right.
your life. Love it. Have you ever been part of a storyline or a match that you just didn't want to do?
yes, absolutely. And this is where the person who came up with this idea is no longer working for TNA. But back when September 11th, 2011, I want to say, they had their 10-year anniversary. And on that day, TNA had a pay-per-view. So Tommy Dreamer was like, this is a perfect opportunity. Like NBC just did a documentary on her for the 9/11 thing. It's the 10-year anniversary. We have a pay-per-view. This can be her big babyface turn. Like she can be a good guy now. And they're like, nah, no, not really. We don't think we should change it. And they just didn't put any thought into it. Because if they did, it would have been better. What they did was, during the day, like earlier that day, I did a out-of-character interview as myself, and it was really emotional and heartfelt. And the fans, they watched that before the pay-per-view even happened. So they watched that, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that happened, and we had no idea. So, like, right now they're feeling for me.
Yeah.
The show starts, I come out with the American flag, and everybody does the national anthem. And then later on in the show, I then became a bad guy trying to yell at them. They're, like, cheering for me. And it's like, you see, you guys didn't think. Because if you did, then you wouldn't. And then I also, during that match, had to do a spank spot where, like, this guy spanked me, he kissed me, and then he threw me around by my hair. I was like, yeah, that wasn't exactly the best way to display something, like, you know, on that day anyway.
Right.
Any other day, fine, it's wrestling. But that day, it's just, there was no thought put into it, so, yeah, no.
Well, now, do you have a set age of retirement from wrestling, or are you going to be, you know, a lifer like the late great Mae West or Mae Young? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she just passed away recently. That was crazy to hear, but not exactly. I don't want to, you know, because most people will say, okay, I want to get married by 30, have my kids by whatever. With wrestling, you don't have that great of a window if you're a woman. So for me, I'd say around 30 to 35 is where I'd be like, okay, I'm good, you know. But if I haven't accomplished everything I wanted to, and still have a chance to, then I'm going to keep doing it. You know, because I still have my dreams of becoming women's champion, of going to WWE, performing at a WrestleMania, working Madison Square Garden, the place that my dad and I used to go all the time. So I still have those dreams set up, and hopefully those will come true. But I don't have like a set age necessarily unless I did accomplish everything. Kind of like Trish did, you know.
What is the absolute #1 best thing ever about your job?
About which one?
Wrestling. Yeah.
Okay. I'd have to say the matches. The matches, because you always go in there with somebody new, and it's always a different feel. Everybody has their own personalities in there. They have their own styles, and it's really cool to, once you hear the crowd, like, build up and then scream for you, it's amazing. Like, there's no other feeling I can ever compare that to. There's a move that I do. It's Lita used to do it, and I do that in tribute to her. The moonsault, which is, like I said, the backflip off the top rope. There's not been one time where it's not happened like this, where I'll point to the turnbuckle and I'll look, and everybody knows what I'm about to do. So they kind of get like riled up. And as I go, like, climb the top rope, they're like, you know, building. And then when I do it, it's like, ah, wow. And just right there, it's that feeling, like, it's like, wow. And then usually I'll be like, all right, we got him, good. You know? So it's cool. And it's something that I'm almost addicted to, you know? Like, everybody has their things that they're like, wow, I love that feeling. I'm going to keep doing that. And wrestling, it's weird, but it's always been that. It's always been that. Like I say, you know, everybody looks at me like, oh my God, you're so small, and why would you want to mess up your face? Like, what are you doing? But I'm in love with it. So,
what's your favorite thing about your acting career?
Being somebody else. To the point where, like my last character that I did for Army of the Damned, it was nice to play off different people and use inspirations. Like, Aaliyah is my favorite. So for Romeo Must Die, I used Trish, her character there, to inspire my cop character, Lawson, and her Akasha character, I used that as my demonic character. So it was cool to become somebody else, and I give a lot of credit to the people who do horror movies, because I never knew the emotion that you have to drag out of you, being scared or crying. There was a scene where I'm cutting my hand off, and it was a real saw. Like, everything was real, except I had this prop arm that looked exactly like they molded it. It had my birthmarks, peach fuzz coloring, everything.
Wow.
So it was weird looking at it, you know? And as soon as the blade hit my fake arm, all this blood shot out. So it was crazy to me, and I had to be crying during this whole scene. And we shot it like 4 or 5 times. Wow. So it was like, cry, 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 okay, be okay. Cry again, be okay. So it was really hard to keep dragging that out, but... Right. Man, I have credit to those people.
Where do they put your real arm? Is it like straight
behind my back?
It's like, I was like, do you like hold it up?
No.
How far up did it go?
All the way up to my shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah. I wish I could send you guys pictures of it, but like I had it to where you saw just my little like shoulder nub here, and they hooked it onto there and brought it out, and it was the exact thing. It was weird. So they had they put a medium shirt on me, so I had space in the back. But I forgot that it was even back there because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm doing this. Stop it. You got to be crying right now. You know, just, it was weird. I had so many things going on in my head. And then I hear the director, because I wasn't alone in this room. So I hear the director from the other room, okay, looks good. Start crying now. Okay, get more upset. Like, it was insane, you know? So definitely being somebody else and just being a character is so much fun. And just to say, like, okay, it's me, but it's not really me, to the point where you can act out. And I think everybody is attracted to the dark side, you know? When you can play that character, that badass who's killing people, who's cutting her hand off, like, and I remember I cut my hand off and I stuck a blade in place of it. And that was my weapon of choice.
That's
very Chucky
what I would
of
choose.
Yeah.
Would choose that.
Seems simple enough. 50 years from now, what do you want people to say when they speak of you? What do you want to be? Not that you'll be dead or anything, but like, what do you want to be remembered as, you know?
Yeah, that's funny. No one's ever asked me that before. I guess it would have to be a hard worker and just inspirational, you know, a good person, somebody that, you know, whether I was on TV with TNA or hopefully one day with WWE, like, I would never let the hype or anything get to me like that. I've always been the person to help other people if I can, and like I was lucky that I had women like Melina and Mickey James and people say, okay, well, let's help you. You know, I want to help you. And I mean, they showed me what a straightener was. They showed me what eyelashes were and push-up bras. That's all I needed. So, I mean, even things like that, like new wrestlers, new women wrestlers coming up, like I would love to help them and, you know, be able to say, this is what I learned. And so just, I guess, yeah, just a hardworking person and just positive things, a lot of positive things, because I think in this world you have to want to be remembered as somebody that people look up to, you know? So definitely that.
In terms of your wrestling career specifically, what do you want to be remembered as?
That's interesting. Probably the person who, although was very small, would still go up against people that was bigger than me. And it's you know, for me it was not being afraid and not backing down from anybody. And that was actually the reason I got the award for it, was although you're so small, I mean, the memory of your dad, yes, but also because you're so small, you go for, you know, you wrestle people 10 times bigger than you. I've wrestled a girl that was 6'9".
Oh,
you
gosh.
know?
There's girls that are 6'9". It's fine.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. I was like, you know, that's a perfect example. I don't want people to look at that and be afraid. So, yeah, definitely somebody who wouldn't back down from anybody.
Awesome.
Did you win?
I don't
know. I mean,
it was out of her control.
Because it's already done. I guess you don't.
Oh, they should have let you win on that one.
I know.
I mean,
Jeez,
everyone's rooting for you.
Did
Come
you
on.
climb up her and like punch in the face?
No, I did climb up the ropes though, like climb up the turnbuckles to try and bring her down. For you know, you work on the legs first, try to bring them down that way, come at them, you know, jumping. So I mean, the thing is, you have to be realistic too. You know, for them, they're like, okay.
That would have been like the ultimate victory.
Right.
I think eventually they were going to build to that.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like Rey Mysterio, same thing. He either, you know, wrestling the Big Show or somebody huge. They knew he wasn't going to win, you know, but they wanted him to so bad. And when they finally got it, it was like, yes. You know, it was such a great feeling. And for me, I think that they were going to go that route, but it just never played out. Yeah. It was like a one-time thing. But I think that if they would have played it like how they did with Rey, just I'll lose, keep losing, and then have that one big match. Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Well, before we wrap up, we just want to give you an opportunity to promote anything that you have coming up or going on, or tell us what we can look forward to.
Well, definitely more movie stuff, and there's a lot of things in the works right now that I can't really talk about, but just make sure you see me on Twitter, Thea Trinidad TMT, and that goes for Facebook and Instagram, and TheaTrinidad.com. You'll find everything there, and as soon as I know, you'll know.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Thea.
Yeah,
It was
thank
really
you guys
fun
so much.
talking. Do you feel like we know you a little better? I feel like.
Oh, yeah. You guys definitely did your research.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us. Welcome back again. Find me on Twitter at I am Jessica King. And where can we find you guys?
As always, hit up that Facebook, that Instagram, and that Twitter. At Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream. I want to know what you want to know. So hit me up. Tweet me.
Find me all over the internet at the Nick Perdue.
Just Google him.
Just Google, of course.
Until next time.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Spito, Dario Kristen, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network. If you have questions or comments, tweet us at BHL Online or email us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. For more exclusive content, visit blackhollywoodlive.com. This has been a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.